Good morning. Good morning. What is this? That says, oh, hide. All right. So I click this and it says, welcome back. Good morning, everybody. Oh, it's still just 9:59. All right. I can take a sip of coffee. Oh, what a wonderful thing. So, welcome back. Today is the 16th of January, and we had an absolutely banner rock star Sunday afternoon with Charlie John and Ellen Bond and Carol Hay and Christine Shaken at the lovely 50 Laurier Avenue East doing a photo shoot for Charlie's and Ellen's book, which is going to be wonderful. And we just had the best time. And one of the reasons we had the best time is we usually, when the three of us get together, Carolyn, Christine, and I, we have a crazy time. The thing is that Charlie and Ellen are running all over the place because they got the book deal, and then all of a sudden it's like now because the deadline is May. when they told Carol, she said, "Of this year." So mad scramble, and when they got to my place for our combined shoot, it was, I think, a moment to blink in surprise and relax because, well, good morning, Kelly. Good morning. Have an amazing day yourself. And good morning, Freddie. Um, we made it fun for them, and Charlie had said, "Is there any chance that you can bring a souvenir from the show to hold up while we do your picture?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I think I can do that." And what I brought was, Mom. I brought, they walk in, and I'm standing there. They both blinked, completely shifted gears, laughed hysterically, and that was the mood for the 45 minutes that they were with us, which was just fabulous. So we have pictures of them with Mom and me, and just it was a fun time. And I wanted to share that with you because it's part of what I want to talk about this week, specifically this week, because we are in the mid-January. Yesterday was the Ides of January, and the middle of the month always has a kind of a scraping around the edges of the leaping curve, and it's been cold, and it's been very snowy, and then it has rained, and we've had black ice, and we've had the usual Ottawa, Canada winter stuff. Nothing as bad as we have had in the past, but still challenging. So having a day where it was possible for me to kind of sneak up behind people and get them giggling and laughing and relaxing was as important for me as it was for them, because we get exhausted and we don't realize it, and we get exhausted on all the levels. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. So the theme today is it time for my nap yet? And it keeps coming up. Just somebody posted, some days I change the world, and other days I leave my keys in the fridge. And you say, yes. And you don't find them again until you give up and say, I'm going to have wine. I don't care what time it is. There they are. So what I wanted to talk about today, on an up note, I thought that today was the Ides of January. The Ides is the 15th, and so today Freddie is the 16th. So never mind, it's all good. Um, what? Oh gosh! And speaking of the Ides of and unsuspecting people, uh, nasty, hard freeze snap down where Charles and Cat Cox live. And he was posting pictures of bringing all the plants in and wrapping pipes and doing all things because they're down they're down south. They're down where it doesn't freeze, like really. And so I when I got up this morning, I checked the temperature, and you do the math. You take their number and you divide it or multiply it or whatever. Where I am this morning, it's minus 11 Celsius. Where they are, it's -6. So can you imagine? It's like getting down the road and kind of squint around the corner, you can see New Orleans. -6. So I wanted to give a shout out to them and say stay warm and good for you for getting all the plants in and wrapping yourselves up. And Charles and Kat came up to Ottawa for a visit in the fall, and they were buying all these, warm hoodies and stuff. I am picturing them now wearing all of them at the same time. So the reason I want to talk about is it time for our nap yet? Is because and this is part of the conversation I'm creating and having and will be having with clients at workshops and whatnot when we're doing pivotry, is that we can't fix something if we don't know there's something wrong. We can't remind ourselves to do that short, simple self-care hack if we haven't created the habit of checking in and saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's the day now? And it's not on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I winning? It's not that. It's how's the day affecting me? Because when we get up and we're ready to, tame lions, small things don't really bother us. Unbelievably cold in Kansas. I'll bet it is. Because all that weather's coming. So if we aren't checking in, if we're not doing the diagnostic, it's kind of like the slow leak that you get in a tire. You drive around and all of a sudden one day you realize you have a flat. You don't know how it happened. Well, it happened because there was a very small, teeny leak. And just gradually, day by day, you lost a little. And then all of a sudden you lost a lot. And the reason I want to talk about this is because of the ripple effect, because it's not just us. Right? It's not just us that it affects. And when you get a cold day, or I don't know if you can hear, the siren just went off, so somebody's having a problem somewhere. And if it's all of a sudden we have a lot of snow, or we have some kind of a weather event that is unexpected. Matt, good morning. Very big on the notion that as adults we need more time for leisurely activities to support instead of maybe a minute. It's okay to rest. Naps and rest are valuable. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, Mr. Matt. They certainly are. So the hacks that I've created began to come into focus for me when I was doing live theater. And I noticed, because I have this thing about the audience. My philosophy is that they are the most important person in the room. And it's not because I'm overly humble. It's because without an audience, it's a rehearsal. The audience is our other half, that we are gelendesprungen is of no use or purpose if there's nobody in the seats. It's just us out there flunking around on the stage. So when I realized I had that mindset, and I knew that I had the ability, if I could figure it out, to make sure that every person who bought a ticket got the best show I could give them. And whether it was opening night or second night or 403rd night, they all paid the same price for the ticket. They all decided to get up off the couch, put on outside pants, get in the car, deal with traffic, find parking, get in out of the rain, the snow, the sleet, the sideways stuff, and sit on a hard seat and face the front. They did that. Plus they'd already paid for the ticket. They did all of that. The least I can do is make them feel that they made a great choice. Not only glad they came, but pretty darn smug about it. Smug enough to go and tell people, we're going to go back. Do you want to come? It's a great show. I feel, have always felt it. That's my job. That's what I bring. So, and I was young, I was like, first stage show, 18, 17. And I knew that there would be days, and certainly I was in some of those days when, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your day? Minus 11. I couldn't give the audience what I felt they deserved if I dragged all that stuff with me, because the audience didn't buy a ticket for that. They might want to see it another time if I could make it funny enough, but that wasn't why they came. So I couldn't make it what they got. That wasn't fair. That's breaking the contract in my way of thinking. So I was really young when I started trying to figure out where to put the baggage, because you don't know that you're fired up and wired up unless you have these self-checks, unless you create a habit that you say, okay, pause for a moment. I knew an actor in college. It was really funny. I heard this noise backstage, and I said, what the hell is that? And somebody said, oh, that's John. He's screaming. And I said, I can hear that. Why? And so I found him and I said, what, are you all right? And he said, oh yeah, I always do that. He went in the bathroom, locked the door, screamed. And I said, is that a vocal exercise of some kind? And he said, no, I'm getting rid of all of the stress. And I said, oh, okay. Hard on the throat, though. Isn't there another way to do it? He said, I haven't found one. But all of those conversations, those kinds of conversations that I had where I was trying to figure out what my little, tricks and hacks were, you take everything and you write it down. You say, is that for me? Yes, no, maybe. And then you start saying, oh, you know what? Oh, you know what I can do? I'm not going to walk around taking my emotional temperature every 15 seconds. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to walk around taking my energetic temperature every 15 seconds. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't be able to get anything done, right? So what I decided to do was create the habit that goes with an other thing that you do. So what are the other things that you do? Well, there's some sort of physical transition before you walk through the door. There's something that happens. You either park the car, lock the car, get off the bus, close the umbrella, take off your coat, fluff your hair. You do something on a regular basis as you go from out here to in there. And I was trying to figure out, when is the best time? When is the best time to catch myself? And that was when I originally came up with the later folder. And it is before you walk in the building. It's not just leave your baggage at the door, because it's all very well and fine to say that, but the subconscious brain that is all emotions is going to panic that we're going to forget this important thing, because it's fight or flight. It doesn't know that we're going to the theater. It has no idea. It just knows that we have to stay alive and this is important. And so if we don't put it in a safe space, and if we don't give it, a little, I'll be back, a little hug, we are going to carry it with us. And I thought, you know what, if you write it down, if you take it out of your head and put it on a piece of paper, and you say, later folder, I'll be back, I'll deal with it later. It's a calming situation. The other thing you do is, the couple of deep breaths. I absolutely am crazy about the 5-finger breathing break. Literally 30 seconds. to just give yourself time. And it's a kind of a soothing sensation as well. So the soothing of the doing and the breathing and the fact that you're focusing on doing it. You're not doing this mindlessly while you're thinking about pork chops for supper. You're actually focusing on the doing. It's that bridge. It's that stop here, cross the bridge, begin again. That we can add, and if we do it every day, this is how the subconscious brain learns things. The subconscious brain learns how to drive a car. It's a primitive brain that pulled us out of the ooze and found us a cave. It is able to do the ironing and drive the car. We just have to teach it the small, simple, repetitive steps, and we're good to go. So the self-care habit can't begin until we're self-aware. So all of this, Matt, that you're saying is absolutely true. To get there, we have to be here now in the moment, as opposed to everywhere else. So the is it time for my nap yet? It's the thing we either say about ourselves, or we're out somewhere and we see somebody overreacting to something and we think they need a nap. They should have started earlier. They're not doing well. And you can't go over to a perfect stranger and say, perhaps you need a nap, because you're going to bite your head off, right? So I wanted to talk about how we get there. So give me a second here. I have a very, very dear friend, my longest friend. I don't talk about old. I talk about longest. My longest friend, we've known each other since the 7th grade. And she lives in the West Coast. And she has seasonally affective disorder. And she lives where it rains all the time. And life hacks with that. Yeah. And so, periodically I say to her, have you thought about what this is? That you moved there? And she said, I don't know. And she has a lamp. She has a lamp. And so we were having a phone conversation. And I said, how's it going? And she said, oh, it's a bad time of year. And I said, how's the lamp? And she said, shit. She has a lamp. You turn it on, and it gives you the sun UV thing. She hadn't been using it. It's in the room. She hadn't been using it. Why? Well, because she wasn't. I said, do you know how many times I tell you that you need to have a diagnostic, you need to have a checklist? And she said, I know. But she said, if I can't remember the lamp, how the hell am I going to remember? Because you put a Post-it note on the mirror where you stand and brush your teeth. I mean, and she started to laugh and she said, yeah, that might work. Yes. So is it time for my nap yet? Is the question we ask when we should have asked it sooner. We are not enjoying the day, and therefore it has become a cumulative effect of clenching our teeth and gritting and white knuckling and stiff shouldering our way through. And we can't do that over the long term. We end up spending far too much money going and getting treatments for all of these collateral damaged areas that we create because we're not self-aware, and therefore we're not doing self-care. And I know that many people will roll their eyes about the self-care thing, roll their eyes about the self-aware, because there is so much talk about meditation and getting in touch with the whatever. And, from a pragmatic point of view, people are saying, yeah, right, whatever, because they're in their momentum. They're in their gotta go, gotta do, gotta get, gotta be. And they're miles apart. So that what I want us to have is always door number 3. Always, 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 I want to have door number 3, because life does not have to be lived at the extreme of fight or flee, freeze or hide. We don't have to have those bare choices. We don't have to be focused on the most primitive level of survival. We have the intelligence and the tools to thrive. To say survive, yeah, I got it. Now then, I'd like 3 cups of thrive. and how we do that, we got to do the work. It's easy work. It's really simple, easy, repetitive work. So, is it time for my nap yet? Why do you ask? Is a good conversation to get in the habit of having. What is easier to do in the immediate moment is realize, pay attention to, pause, and absorb, like, and I don't mean absorb this way, I mean take notice of all the stuff people are saying and doing that clearly indicates struggle. Clearly. And I don't mean struggle or happy dance. I mean a casual remark that gets a small yappy dog reply. That's not normal. When you see somebody cut off or misses the light, it turns yellow, and you see them pound the steering wheel, that's not normal. A traffic light situation feels like forever when we're impatient. It's not forever. And it's not going to make a difference. We're not going to be fired. We're not going to lose our job. We're not going to lose our home. We're not going to lose the people we love and the safety and sanctity of our cave if we are caught in traffic and we miss the green light. It's not going to change our lives. So when you see somebody angry with it, they need a nap. They need a self-diagnostic. They need to be using some kind of self-aware hook to get themselves to a place where they own the moment. It's yellow. Darn. Missed it by that much. And then stop thinking about it. Well, I can't stop thinking about it because blah, blah, blah. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can think about something else. Oh, you maybe, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know why I can? I practice every day. You know, I didn't have a banner year last year in a lot of ways. It was tough. And ironically, I also had an incredible year last year because it was tough, because it was a challenge, because it was really unrelenting and terrifying and tragic. And I kept going. Did I have a choice? Yes, always. There was one day. It was one day. And it was too dangerous. It was freezing rain sideways. And don't drive if you don't absolutely have to. And I said, I'll just come. I'll give it an hour until the worst of it stops, and then I'll come. It was one day. The rest of it, can I do it? Yes. Do I want to do it? Absolutely. Should I do it? Without question. So was it a hard year? Yes. Was it hard learning, hard navigating? Yes. And you know what? In 1 month, it'll be a full year. A full year. And I'm here. And we're here. And this is here. And Sunday's book shoot was here. And is the weather silly? Yes. So don't go out if you can possibly help it. Stay home, stay in until it clears, and then go. How am I doing this? I'm not a miracle worker. I lost everything. Yes, you did, Mr. Chris. Yes, you did. You're still here. And I have to know I'm still here because I have more to do. You absolutely do, Mr. Chris. You absolutely do. Yay, you. Kelly, being in the moment helps. Oh my gosh, being in the moment is the thing. Because you know what? This is it. You know what's next? Another one. And if we're not present, as I always say to my clients who are panicking about something, I say, we have to stay right here. I'll tell you why. Because we're driving the bus. If we wander off to look out the back window of the bus while it's in gear on a road skirting the side of a mountain, who's driving? Who cares about the sanctity of our lives as much as we do? I have no idea. That's why I'm driving. So how we do it matters a kabillion% to me. Every single motivational person I have studied, I have met, I've observed, the thing that is the hardest to remember for these people is to explain the how. They're so far down their path. They've been doing this for such a long time. They forget that who they are talking to, who I am talking to, who we are talking to, are people who are just at the very top of the path, deciding whether to take that first step. And they know nothing of the things that we have learned. If a person had never walked, picture this, somebody comes from another planet and they get around by thinking, I'm over there. And miraculously, they are. If they were able to do that from birth, just picturing all of the run-ins in the if they were able to do that from birth and they had no idea how walking is achieved, and we had to explain walking to someone fully grown who looks like us and talks like us, it would take us a minute because we would make assumptions in what we were saying. Okay, so first of all, so walking is like one foot and then the other, and they're staring at you. And they're saying, and they don't comprehend it. They know what feet are. They have 2 of them or 7 of them, whatever. They don't comprehend it because they haven't seen it in action. They haven't looked at a YouTube video to learn how to do it. How do we explain it? So many of the things that we take for granted, the assumptions that we have in our conversations are sometimes helpful for moving things forward. Other times they're highly confusing because the conversations are often very, very personal, very subjective. And you know, I cover this a lot when I say the reason I don't ask people how are you is because the answer is fine or not bad. And those terms are so subjective. What they mean by that and what I mean by that are not connected. So I aim for as much clarity and as much tangible language that is definable and measurable as I possibly can, Not because I'm a kind soul necessarily, but because I'm a military brat. And so much of my context is not yours. And, the other day, uh, Carol did a throwaway line. She said, something, 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 as we so often do. And I looked at her and I said, what the hell are you talking about? And she said, well, And I said, no, I don't. And she had stumbled on one of those things that is not in my past experience. And she's looking at me and I'm looking at her and I'm smiling. And she said, oh, right, context. And then she went back and she said, this, then that. And I said, oh, well, that explains a lot, doesn't it? And because, of course, I don't stop every conversation to say, what the hell are you people talking about? I just nod and smile and look like I meant to do that most of the time. But I can ask her because nobody is listening. What are you saying? What does that mean? Why are they doing that? And so this is why I'm rambling on about this. When people are tired, when you're tired, physically tired, maybe mentally tired because you've been focusing on doing your taxes or whatever, emotionally tired because you've been hanging on in a difficult time. Our thinking brain can't really handle a lot more stuff. It really feels like too much of a muchness. And therefore, assumptions people make frustrate us, make us even more tired, confuse us, depress us. People suddenly burst into tears because somebody mislabeled the green peppers or put them in the dairy section in the grocery store. And it was just one more non sequitur than they could handle on that day. There's a sign that they needed a nap. And so we don't ever really deserve to be in that place. We don't deserve to feel lost and helpless. We're nice people. We're doing our best. We don't deserve to feel like that small child who suddenly can't find mom in the shopping center and goes into toddler terror. That we have a range of feelings when we revert that begin with toddler wonder and first butterfly, first pony, first mud, first flower, right? And then we have toddler tired. And then we have toddler terror. And two of those three, if they're not dealt with, if we're not comforted, if it's not explained to us, if it's not made understandable, the outcome is toddler trauma. And a trauma is basically a scar. A trauma is basically invisible baggage in the middle of the living room floor that, because it's invisible, we don't see and we keep tripping over. We don't deserve to have to keep barking our shins on that invisible baggage. We don't deserve to have that moment of, we don't need that. And we don't deserve it. And we don't earn feeling helpless and lost and misunderstood and unvalued. We don't deserve any of that. We have never done anything that makes that okay. And the wonderful thing about this conversation is that we are not victims unless we choose to be. If we are feeling like it's too much of a muchness, we're right. We don't need to have somebody say, oh, you just, we don't need that. That's somebody dropping the ball called friendship. Dropping the ball called compassion. Dropping the ball called tribe. That's called kicking it to the curb. We don't, any of us deserve that. We deserve our best chance for a great day, for a great moment, for a great series of moments strung together. So who's in charge of giving us our best shot at that? Us. And me. I can help. Personal excellence mentor, mom, Care Bear. I can help. How can I help? I've been there. I am there. I do this. Military kid, gypsy, Viking, show business. All of the completely unsettling, what the hell were you thinking, career paths, life paths, are my paths. And so therefore I've learned the hacks. I've learned what it takes to keep yourself aware. I've learned what it takes to create the simple, repeatable habit so that all that other stuff doesn't happen. I am the biggest fan of the simple win. I love a simple win. So how do we do a self-aware check? How do we give ourselves permission to just check in on a regular basis? Well, I was talking the other day to Eddie Flies, and he was having some challenges. He was having some family stuff and some work stuff and some life stuff going on. And then it all kind of resettled and everything. And then it was Christmas, and, and it was all of the stress for that and new people at work and, things, life stuff. And then he caught that cold, the one that I had at Christmas, where you just kind of lie face down and hope somebody brings you soup soon. And he was really having a challenge because all the other stuff that he had thought he was taking care of, all the other things that were creating a slow leak in his energy and a slow leak in his we got this. He had not realized how low his reserves on resources had fallen. And he was saying to me, it doesn't make any sense that a grown man with a fair amount of intelligence and a lot of ability to step up and lean in, it doesn't make any sense that in the midst of a perfectly ordinary cold in the weeks after Christmas, that I'm feeling like a little kid and I'm on the verge of tears. And I said, on the contrary, it makes all the sense. It makes all the sense that we feel like a little kid on the verge of tears, because we still are the little kid. We never lose the little kid. Who do you think's running the show? When I buy crazy clothes, when I buy hats and feather boas and shoes, who do you think's buying them? It's my inner child saying, "Ooh, look, it goes with your boa." People grow up and they grow old. No, okay, but they only grow old when they ignore their inner child. The inner child is still in there. Never goes away. It's what we are. It's the seed, right? I said, the inner child needs a hug. And the only person who can give our inner child a hug is us. When we stop saying, why doesn't anybody like me? Nothing we can do about that. We can start saying, you know what I like best about me? My humility. You know what I like best about me? That I'm paying attention. That I'm paying attention to make sure it's the best I can get. It's the best I am. It's not do more to be more to, it's not that. It's that I am hugging me. I'm giving myself permission to breathe. I'm, looking in my closet in the morning and saying, what fun thing should I wear today? Why? Because I deserve it. Why not? And somebody said, I haven't climbed out of sweatpants in a month. And I said, do you like sweatpants? Yeah, I guess yeah, sure. Otherwise I wouldn't have them. Okay, well then why are you beating yourself up? Well, I should be getting dressed. Why? You work at home. If you love sweatpants and they're comfy and you look in them and you say, why not wear them? Well, you don't wear them. No, it's because I've seen me in sweatpants. We don't need to do that twice. Do it the one time and say, oh, no, burn sweatpants. That's me. I like putting on, stuff and fluffing hair. And I look in the mirror and I think, well, that's cool. It gives me that leg up. It gives me an atta girl with my inner child. So I'm doing it. It's a cheap, easy, quick, simple win. So enough blather, Abby, how do we do the self-diagnostic? How do we become self-aware? And I have a really sweet client who was in a massive car accident several years ago, and she has sustained traumatic brain injury. And one of the sidebars on traumatic brain injury is there's kind of an element of 51st dates. You can forget things. And so I said, I want you to get some kind of a cork board. And I want you to, on the frame around the cork board, and I want you to put it as close on the wall as you can to your mirror, whichever mirror you look into in the morning to do whatever, brush your teeth, comb your hair, whatever mirror that is. I want you to put that cork board right there. And on the top of it, I want you to write, got it, forgot it. Got it, and then forgot it. And because it's a cork board, I want you to put down the thing you need to do today. If I gave you an assignment for this project that you're working on, you write that down when we're talking about it. And got your cell phone? Good. So walk it over and get a push pin and put that thing on your cork board under got it. And when you go and brush your teeth in the morning and you go and brush your teeth at night, you look over because you're there and it's right there. I want you to teach yourself. The habit I want you to teach yourself is to put the thing on the board in the moment. I have another friend who, the minute she thinks of something she has to do, she writes it down on a Post-it note, goes and puts it beside the door to her apartment. So when she's on her way out, she says, oh, that's right, shoes, goes back and puts it on. I said, if you know in the good moments that you forget things, fine. You don't need to beat yourself up about forgetting things. If there's an injury that has caused a glitch, then we are smart enough to create the solution hack, right? And it has to be simple. So corkboard right beside the mirror, got it, forgot it. You go over there, you put the thing as I'm talking to you. You put the thing as you're talking to your kids. You put the thing as you're on the phone ordering something or somebody asks you to do stuff. You write it down, keep the Post-it notes with the phone, write it down, walk it over. Don't say I'll do it later. Do it while you're talking. Boof, it's on there. Now you're going to be looking at it when you brush your teeth. Got it, forgot it. And you know what? You forgot it. Now you got it. No beating up, no shame, no guilt, no blame. No, if only I hadn't been in that accident. Yeah. Waste of time. And the other thing I gave her was a thing I said, write time vampire on the top of a piece of paper. Stick it in your later folder. Because a time vampire is something that accomplishes nothing. It just sucks your time away. And it leaves you with fewer resources. Sucks your time, your energy, your focus, your attention, your joy. So what's a time vampire? While the person is talking, you think there's one. That's a time vampire. Yelling alone in the car at a traffic light is a time vampire. It's an energy vampire. What does it achieve? Nothing. I just like to yell to blow off steam. That's not what happens. When you yell, you push your adrenaline even higher. Your subconscious brain says, all right, it's a fight to the death. Let's do it. Because you're yelling. Stop yelling. Go in the bathroom and do a primal scream if you like, but come out and do the 5-finger breathing, right? Yell if you like, but do the 30-second cool down. Find the place. Where do you keep your later folder? You don't have one yet? I've been talking about a later folder for days, weeks, months, years, and you don't have one? What is a later folder? Well, it's a folder, and you put paper in it, and you bring it with you when you go and do things. And before you transition from this thing to the next thing, and I'm bringing this back to the theater, open the later folder. What's upsetting you? Traffic, road rage, 5 pounds I didn't lose for Friday. Okay, write it down. Why? Because if it's out of your head and you know it's safe on the page, your head is now free to be utterly amazing at the next thing you plan to do. You booked a massage. Go in full of good deep breathing and anticipation. Go in with the little inner child saying, oh boy, maybe there'll be a pony. The only way the little inner child can do that is if you give all the negative stuff a timeout. So the later folder is the timeout. The later folder is the place where we check in with ourselves. It doesn't have to be woo-hoo. It doesn't have to be meditation. It doesn't have to be one with the universe. Use the language that works for you. Every professional driver does a circle check. Pilots do a pre-flight check. Race drivers, truck drivers, cab drivers, sensible, well-trained drivers do a circle check. You know what they're doing? They're checking to see if the vehicle is safe, that the vehicle is ready, that the vehicle is not going to let them down, that the vehicle is not going to, in some way, shape, or form, cause them the utmost damned astonishment. Because when that happens, that's a time vampire. That's an energy vampire. If you can do a circle check around your car, when you leave the house, when you're going on a trip, suitcase, keys, passport, wallet, head, shoes, stove is off, iron is unplugged, bathtub isn't running, windows are closed. You're making that list. Got the reservations, got the emergency phone numbers. You're making that list that makes it easier for you to have an untroubled day. Go to the airport, check the energy. How many people are grumpy? Okay, you know what? You can't fix that. You can't fix that. How long is the flight? How long is the flight? A couple hours? Delays, it's going to be all day? Okay. You do not have to be a victim of that emotionally, mentally, physically. Did you bring a book? Did you bring a notebook? Do you have things you can plug in your ears and listen to? Do the simple win. Give yourself permission when you get out of the cab, when you get out of the car, when you've done your ticket and you're about to walk into the terminal. Take the breath. Let's do this. If there's stuff going on, don't sit there. Go sit someplace else. Look after you. The big reason that I look forward to giving people reasons to smile is because I immediately will benefit from the ripple effect of their laughter. I will immediately benefit from their, hey, we got this. I'm glad I decided to do this. I benefit from that. I put it out, I get it back. I'm not a miracle worker. I can't do that if I'm carrying around a lot of stuff. So put the stuff down. Make a note. Got it, forgot it. Later folder. Time vampire. 15-second finger breathing. There are simple win solutions. If you can't think of one, reach out. We'll talk. It's not so easy. Why didn't I think of it? It's not, oh yeah, well, it must be nice. Look at her, she, blah, blah. No. I'm a military kid. This stuff was into me from the time I was born. Every day. You know what's tomorrow? The next day. Is it going to happen again? Yeah. So I've been practicing a while, constantly. If I wasn't good at it, we should poke me in the eye, bury me out back, feet up. Practicing gives us ease. Practicing makes it automatic. Practicing, and I still do it. I still find myself getting caught up. I have to stop and say, why do I feel? And then I think, oh yeah, that. I went into the drugstore the other day and there was somebody on their phone. And I walked away. They were where I needed to be. I walked away, walked around. I was in a hurry. Walked away, walked around, took a breath and said, we only have to do this for a second. Walked over and said, excuse me. And I said, I just need that. Thanks. Walked away. Paid for it, left the store, sat in the car. And I always say to myself, you know what the good news is? I'm not related to that. Like I don't have to have them over for the holidays. And I don't have to buy them a present. And I don't have to wish them happy birthday. I only had 30 seconds or a minute with them. Not related. So is it time for my nap yet? If you are asking, the answer is yes. If it has occurred to you that you are, the answer is yes. Can you actually physically take time out to have a real nap? Maybe, maybe not. If you can't actually physically have a nap, then do something that feels good. Small, short, simple. I really shouldn't, but I really love. Then do it. Just don't do it 50 times. Do it one time. I got to clear my head. Then clear your head. Oh, I know, but no, clear your head. Clear your head to do the next thing better. We are driving the bus. We need to be ready and able. We need to look after us. We need to be aware that we need to look after us. And we need to have a simple win ready to do that. So whatever your simple win is, I cannot say enough about how amazing, and if you haven't heard me talk about this, I'll just quickly review it for you. The idea is that you take your index finger and you start down here and you just trace, not fast, not slow. You trace your fingers all the way to the other side. And then you go back and you trace your fingers. And you try not to do it while you're talking to somebody. And you want to watch what you're doing so you're not watching something that's distracting. And then you do the other one. And you do it the same exact way, all the way over, and then all the way back. And that's it. And it's less than 30 seconds. And it's a complete break that gives you a chance to shift gears. And you don't have to think about shifting gears, and you don't have to say anything. You don't have to practice anything. It's very simple. So give that a try. Give that a try. If somebody says, what are you doing? 5-finger breathing. If you're at work, if you have one of those Fitbit things, put an alarm for every 90 seconds, 90 minutes, 90 seconds, never get any work done. An hour or every 2 hours. It goes boop, and you just say, excuse me, got 30 seconds, I'll be right back. Go, leave. Well, we're in the meeting. I know, sorry, 30 seconds, give me a second. Okay. Go out, do it. Come back. Sorry about that. No excuses. I just need 30 seconds. No excuses. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. Everything improves. Give it a try. It's a way to be aware. Use the tools that you've got. Use your phone alarm. Use something, a little boop noise. Why? Because your inner child deserves it. And so do you. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you're warm. I hope you're safe. I hope the breathing and all of these conversations is helping you not need the nap immediately. And if you still need the nap, go take a nap. Get refreshed. And I will see you on Thursday with more cool stuff. All right? Be good to you. You deserve it. Remember to hug your loved ones. Thank you so much for watching.